Okay, today we're going to talk about one of the hot button topics. In the United States right now is immigration, and it's not going to be what you think, right? Because I have I'm a big picture type of guy. I kind of like to see things. I view it. I say, what is the angle? What is because not all the time that people are going to come, the government or whatever, they're going to come straight out and tell you exactly what the game plan is. They'll try to walk you through it and even sometimes distract you, right? And that's just, I mean, that's just the fact of life. But those that can read between the line, I don't consider myself a conspiracy theorist. I look at what's going on and I try to figure out what's really going on, right? Because there's a lot of spin doctoring on both sides, whether you're Republican or Democrat, left or right, whatever. On both sides, there's going to be spin doctoring, and they're going to be selling you ideas. That's what really that's what politics are. That's what politics are. It's selling ideas to the public, right? They say, how are we going to package this idea for them, right? So let's get how are we going to package this idea so that the public can accept this, or our voter base can accept this, right? So here, okay, let's get into it, right? I believe that they see. Okay, now we have to bring Elon Musk into this, right? And this will come. Everything will come full circle. Just follow me until I get to my point, right? Now, Elon Musk is building those big Tesla factories. And one of the Tesla things, the SpaceX is a big thing, right? SpaceX is a big thing, sending those rockets up. But another one of those things are the robots, right? The robots. Now, I forget exactly how it goes, right? But the problem they're having with robots right now, right? Don't quote me on this, but I'm going to give you the main idea, right? A robot can do, let's say it's 24. I'm throwing a number out there, right? Out of 21 positions, it can do like more than half of the positions a hand can do. So a human hand is a great piece of technology. You can use it to use a hammer or whatever, right? Now the problem they're having is they can't do all of the positions of the human hand, right? And once they resolve that, which is going to be very, very soon, I think they're going to be able to do more. Because think about it. If it's a robot, it could rotate the hand all the way back, rotate the fingers. Like I would be able to grab something from the other side if it's a robot, right? Okay. So, and he plans to put out 1 billion of them, right? I don't think that billion is just in the United States because that's more people than we have. We only got like 350 million people. So that would be like 2 or 3 robots per person here, per person here. So I'm assuming that he means around the world, right? Okay. Now that comes down to the immigration thing, right? We're not going to need as many work. We're not going to need because right now what we're seeing is an kind of like not like really like an apocalypse, but white collar workers, anything that can be automated office work right now is being decimated right now. Like these companies are they because you can take a $50,000, $90,000 worker. The programmers, there was some software engineers that were making making 120, 200 something $1,000, right? And a lot of those tasks, not all of them, because I do study that stuff too, right? A lot of those tasks can be automated, and they're figuring that out. And especially if you're, with the call centers, because it's getting really good. It's getting really good at interpreting English or interpreting language and being able to, because you don't need a human in that loop anywhere. Like, say you're calling in to find out your phone bill, how much your phone bill is. You don't need a human in that loop anymore, right? Or if you're just calling in to pay a bill, you don't need a human in that loop. You can tell the robot, okay, hey, I'm going to pay it late, and it's going to I'm going to pay it late. I'll promise to pay by then. Oh, yeah, Mister Such and Such, we're going to let you, we'll let you pay it. You don't need a human in that loop anymore, right? Just any kind of office work. However, a lot of the jobs that people that come to this country are physical jobs, right? And once they come out with the robots, we're not going to need that many. We're not going to need as much labor. We're not going to need as much labor. So imagine this, right? And there's one other thing I want to bring to your attention, right? Because they're even trying to automate truck driver jobs, right? There's on certain routes, with flat ground and things like that. They have these trucks that have no driver in them, or they want to put no driver in them to drive them down the highway. So that's going to get reduced. It's too lucrative. It is too lucrative for them not to try to make that a reality where they can replace the driver, because the driver is the biggest liability. Let's just face it. Driver error is the biggest reason for accidents, right? And the driver costs the most, and you have to give this driver a break. If there's no driver in there, you don't have to give them a break. This thing can just run 24/7 or whatever, right? So a lot of them get into those jobs, like the Somalis are heavy in trucking as well, right? And there's all different Latin cultures as well, and just a lot of people, even the Indians. The Indians are big into trucking, right? So a lot of those jobs are gonna go away, right? And as far as you say that a lot of people say, oh, well, we need people to pick our fruit and work at McDonald's. I think that's kind of like, I think that's kind of racist. That's what the Democrats be saying, like, oh, well, they're going to pick our fruit and work at a restaurant. I mean, you're going to come up. They're more intelligent than that, right? I don't disbelieve that that's what they're going to do. However, you already see those kiosks at McDonald's. And think about it. If they're able to automate trucks with living people on the road, right? There's nothing stopping them in a field where it picks cotton, corn, or whatever. Any kind of fruit. They got robots that can shake the fruit off of the trees and things like that. You're going to need minimal human intervention in there. So let's get back to my original point. This is why I don't think that. This is why immigration is such a hot button topic, because they understand that we're going to have to reduce the labor. The labor force is going to need it to be reduced, right? We're not going to need as many people to run the country, right? This is my idea. And I this is where I see it going. And it's to me, it's undeniable, because automation, robots, and AI and all that kind of stuff, it's coming. And it's going to make that kind of impact. So what are they going to do with the foundational Americans then when once they get all of them? Because I'm really like, the only thing that bothered me about immigration, right, was when they started bringing them up to New York, and they were giving them SBA loans and things like that. They had them staying in a hotel. I mean, if you're gonna be a sanctuary city, they get there and then let them do what they got to do, and that's it. But don't put them to the forefront of people that have been here and have paid into the system. I mean, don't do it that way. That's not the way to do it. That was my only problem with it. I mean, I didn't think that it was gonna, because like they said, they'll take a lot of labor intensive jobs, and there's a lot of greedy companies that are willing to pay that cheap labor, and but that's going to go away, because they're going to have we're about to have the robots, right? And that's it. So what's going to, let's get back to it, right? What's going to happen to the foundational Americans when we get that, right? They're talking about universal basic income, and it's not that far-fetched. It's not that far-fetched for them to do that, right? Everybody talks about how we should be like Europe and stuff like that. I think that's a bunch of baloney. That's a bunch of bullshit, right? I think we should look at Saudi Arabia, right? Because they have a lot of social programs off of basically they're doing a profit sharing off of all that oil that they're selling out there, right? If you need a job, if you don't have a job, they make sure they maintain their middle class, right? They basically have a universal basic income. However, If you go over there as like an Indian, I watched the thing on I watched the thing with an Indian guy talking about Dubai and those countries over there and like Saudi Arabia and stuff like that, right? And how poorly they were treated, right? When they go over there, he basically hated those places because of how they were treated. They would take their passport and force them into labor, according to what he said. I don't know anything about this. I'm according to what this video said that I was watching. Now, so what I'm saying to them is what I'm saying about them is they're putting their citizens first. They're putting their citizens first, right over there. And it looks like that's what they're setting up over. That's what it could be set up like over here. Or we could have the Hunger Games. They can make us all, once they thin the herd, they can make us all fight for that. Let's hope let's hope that doesn't happen. I don't think that's going to happen, right? That's my prediction. My prediction is, there'll be that universal basic income, and the few jobs that are out here that need human intervention, they'll go to foundational Americans, whether, however long you've been in the country, whatever, how long your family's been in the country for generations. If you're a citizen, you'll, jump to the line in those ones, and they won't need the influx of people. The only thing that they'll need this influx of people for is to fill the cities and create a new voting block. I mean, if that's going to happen, because I even saw something where Mondami said it, right? We don't have the same amount of people flowing in. That the mayor of New York, Mondami, we don't have the same amount of people flowing in because of the policies of this current administration. And he was expecting to get new voters in, right? And that's pretty much that, right? And to all of you that say it's so wrong, it's so wrong the way they're treating the immigrants, you try to go somewhere else. Look how they were complaining in Mexico City about because a lot of people from California were moving down there and raising the prices of rent down there. And they were doing protests against those people. I watched it with my own eyes. Or I didn't watch it live and direct, but I saw videos on it. Right? Anywhere you go has it, right? The experience I've had in Dominican Republic, I went over there, right? And if you overstay, you just have to pay to leave, right? So they have their laws. I mean, everywhere has their laws. You can't just come into anybody else's country and work and start taking from their foundation. Every other country in the world, say possibly those European countries, are not in this block. Puts their citizens first. China definitely puts their citizens first, right? They last year or whatever, they invited a lot of people when the TikTok ban over the Chinese social media, right? So I went over there, I checked it out and I did some videos and stuff over there, right? But after a while, you realize it's not meant for us to go viral. It's for them to be able to sell their people to the world. They give their people a platform, and I respect that. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that one bit. That's if that's what you want to do. But that's a side note. Let's get back onto topic. I'm just ranting. I'm going off. I'm going off topic, right? We're not going to need all these people, and I believe that's what they see. And it's just a game. I think they're in cahoots. I think both are in it, right? I think because Obama deported many more people than Trump has, right? Or at the time, I don't know if now he has, right? And they see this coming. They see this coming, but they're playing this game so they can play both sides against each other, right? And if you really look at the big picture, this is really the only way that this, in my opinion, could go, right? Also, that they're worried about capital flight, right? Because a lot of times when they come over here, or when other countries come over, they're going to send money back home, right? That's taking money out of our system. Right? This is exactly they're trying to put controls on it That's on a financial system. They want to keep the money in the country, right? Keep the money flowing in the country. And that's it. That's my opinion. I'm just to recap. They're not going to need as many people. So they're both playing this game. Because they did it. The Democrats did it silently, but Trump is outright. This is one of his hot button topic. But they're both playing the same game. So with that, let me know what you think. Whatever platform you're on, I'm on Spotify, YouTube, whatever, right? Whatever you think, leave me a comment. Let me know. Do you think I'm right, or did this open your eyes or whatever? And as always, thank you for your time and attention.